Good morning everybody. Today we will be starting the second session on Unit 2, that is Digital Logic and Data Presentation of Mechatronics subject. So first of all, let us discuss about decoder with 7-segment display. As you can see in the above sketch, there is a decoder with 7-segment display. So there is a display of 0 to 9 digits, and it is being used in microwave ovens or digital clocks. So there are 8 LEDs. Every LED is given a name from A to H, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There are 8 and H is a dot. So as per the sketch above, the number 5 is being displayed by the making the LEDs A, F, G, C, D to high or on condition. Let me explain you through the truth table. So you have a decimal digit and inputs and the outputs. So the display pattern. Suppose you want to display your decimal digit 0 on the display pattern. So in this case, the first inputs that we are giving for ABCD. So there are 4 inputs and 8 outputs. So the first input that we are providing is for ABCD is 0, 0, 0, 0. So since a decimal 0 needs to be in the display pattern, so outputs A, B, C, D, E, F are going to be in on condition, that is high state. Similarly, let me take you through the table. The second one, the decimal digit to be displayed required is 1. So in that case, the inputs would be 0, 0, 0, 1. That is A, B, C, D equal to 0, 0, 0, 1. So 1 needs to be displayed. Hence, B and C are going to be in high and the remaining A, F, G, E, D are going to be in low state. Similarly, for decimal point 2, we want to display a pattern of 2. The inputs would be 0, 0, 1, 0. Since 2's binary equivalent is 0, 0, 1, 0, the inputs would be 0, 0, 1, 0. And the output for 2 to be highlighted on the display pattern is A, B, G, E and D will be in higher state. The remaining all outputs will be in a lower state. Similarly, in order to display 3 on the display pattern, so the decimal equivalent is 3. The inputs would be the decimal equivalent of the binary equivalent of decimal 3 is 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0, 0, 1, 1 is the inputs. So in order to 3 being displayed on the display, we need to have A, B, G, C and D in a higher state and the remaining would be in a lower state. Similarly, in order to display 4, the outputs that will be highlighted will be F, G, C and B in a higher state, the remaining would be in a lower state. Similarly, 5 being displayed, so A, F, G, C, D would be in a higher state and the remaining of them would be in a lower state. For 6 to be highlighted, we need to have A, F, E, D, C, G to be in high state and B alone would be in a low state. In order to display 7, we need to have A, B, C in a high state and the remaining outputs to go for a low state. In order to display 8, all the digits, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G totally needs to be in high state. In order to display the digit 9, we need to have A, B, G, F, C, D to be in high state. Only E needs to be in a low state. You can refer to the truth table wherein the decimal digit that is required to be displayed, so you can provide the inputs accordingly, the outputs get highlighted. this is a decoder with a 7-segment display. Now coming to the encoders. So as per the encoder, it is used to convert human readable characters to digital forms. So it is nothing but a decimal number being converted into a binary numbers. So a 4x2 encoder by means of logic gates using two NOR gates have been shown in the sketch. So inputs to A is I2 and I3. Inputs to B is I1 and I3. So let me first take the inputs. I0 equal to 1, I1 equal to 0, I2 equal to 0 and I3 equal to 0. That is the first condition. So in this case, since I1, I2, I3 are all 0, the outputs A and B would also be 0. Coming to the second condition, where I1 is in a higher state and I2 and I3 are in a 0 state. Since I1 is in a higher state, only B is being in a higher state. Output B will be in a high state and output A is going to go for a low state. Coming to the third inputs, I2 alone is in a high state here, whereas I1 and I3 are 0. Since I2 is high, output A is going to be in a high state and B is going to be in a low state. Similarly, the last row, I3 has a high state, whereas I1 and I2 are in a 0 state. Hence, since I3 is available in both outputs A and B, so both the outputs are going to go for a higher state. So this kind of encoders will have 2 to the power n input lines and n output lines. So if there are 2 output lines, that means to say it has 2 to the power n, that is 2 square, that is 4 input lines. So a 4x2 encoder will have 4 input lines and 2 output lines. In the similar way as we explained the encoder, we have a decoder again here. A decoder is used to convert the binary to the recognizable human readable character or the decimal form. So binaries are being converted into decimal form. So it has got n inputs and 2 to the power n outputs. So if there are 2 inputs, then total number of outputs would be 4, that is 2 square. With enable line should always be kept on for the working of the decoder. So in the first sketch you can see an E being displayed at the bottom. So that enable state should be in a high. So E should always be in one state for it to work. Now let me come to the logic gates 2x4 decoder, the last sketch. So the input to the Q0 is equal to your product of A0 and A1, complement of A0 and A1. Similarly, output Q1 has complement of A0 and product of into A1. Similarly, output Q2 has A0 along with the product of complement of A1, and Q3 has a product of input A0 and A1. So let us go to the truth table now. So initially I am going to pass conditions 0, 0, that is inputs A0 and A1 as 0. So in this case, when both the inputs are 0, Q0 is going to become a high state and the remaining outputs are going for a low state. That is Q0 is equal to 1 and Q1, Q2, Q3 is going to be a 0. I'll explain this. Since A0 is 0 now, so the input to the first AND gate would be a 1. So So A1 is again 0. The input to the first AND gate again would be a complement of 0, which is 1. So we have 1 and 1 coming into Q0, as a result of which Q0 is going to become 1. 1 into 1 is equal to 1. So let me consider the second case wherein A0 is equal to 0 and A1 is equal to 1. So in this case, we will have Q1, the output Q1 in a high state. Similarly, in the third condition wherein A0 is equal to 1 and A1 is equal to 0, output Q2 will be in a higher state. And finally, the last inputs, when both the inputs are 1 and 1, so we have Q3, inputs to Q3 as A0 and A1. So since 1 and 1 is coming, so 1 into 1, we are using an AND gate. So 1 into 1, output Q3 is equal to 1. Whereas the remaining outputs are going to go for 0. Next, moving on to the sequential logic system. As you can see, the output of this sequential logic system will depend on the present input and past output values. That is, it is a combination of combinational logic gates and the memory. You can see through the sketch, you have a combination logic gate and a memory. So, in sequential logic system, the combinational logic gates will receive the inputs from the external inputs as well as from the memory, and it will produce the outputs. So an example of a sequential logic system would be a flip-flop. So we will explain in detail what is meant by a flip-flop in the next slides. So flip-flop is basically a memory device which is made up of number of logic gates. So you can use 1 or 2 or more logic gates, and finally it's nothing but a memory device which is going to store 1 bit information. So a flip-flop will have 1 or more inputs, but it has got only 2 outputs, that is Q and Q bar. Q will call it as the normal output and the Q bar will call it as the inverted output. So I will try to explain in detail when we give. So as per the last sketch of the right hand sketch, I have explained in detail wherein we will give individual conditions as when S is equal to 0 and R equal to 0, when S is equal to 1 and R equal to 1, when S equal to 0 and R equal to 0, and finally S and R both going to high state. So what the outputs are going to become. So let me just work around, try explaining this circuit. In the last circuit diagram towards your right, you have 4 NAND gates being used. That is, S is going to have single input, 1 NAND gate. The output of that NAND gate is connected to the input of the other NAND gate. R is going to have 1 NAND gate below, and the output of this is going as an input to the second NAND gate. So in all we have 4 NAND gates in the last circuit. So initially when S and R are 0, we will assume the condition as Q and Q bar as 0 and 1. So when S and R are 0, the outputs Q and Q bar are 0 and 1 respectively. So next let me supply R or S equal to 1. So when S is equal to 1, the output of the first NAND gate would be 0. Also the second NAND gate is receiving another input Q bar which is in its previous state as 1. So 1 into 0 is again 0. A complement of 0 is 1. So Q state changes to 1 from 0. When S equal to 1, Q is equal to 1. Similarly, now I will change the state of R as 1 and S as 0. So when we substitute R equal to 1 coming at the bottom of the circuit, So output of the third NAND gate would be a 0. So 0 being coming, and Q in its previous state is 1. So 1 into a 0 is 0. A complement of it is 1. So Q bar changes its state to 1 when R is equal to 1. So now I will give both the inputs as 1 and see what the output is. So we will start off with R is equal to 1. When R is equal to 1, the last state, the forbidden state which is coming now. So when R is equal to 1, output of the third NAND gate is 0. So but Q state is again a 0. In the previous, in your reset condition, Q is 0. So that is coming as an input to the fourth NAND gate. So 0 into 0 is 0. A complement of it is 1. So Q bar changes its state from 0 to 1. Also we have S equal to 1 now for the first NAND gate. So output of the first NAND gate is 0. Also Q bar is already changed its state to 1, which is fed as input to the second NAND gate. So 1 into 0 is nothing but 0. Complement of it is 1. So Q becomes 1. So Q and Q bar are both being 1, which we will call it as the forbidden state. Since it's a flip-flop, the output should change. That is, if Q is equal to 0, Q bar should be 1, or when Q bar is equal to 0, Q should be 1. But in this final state, when S and R are both 1, the outputs Q and Q bar are again 1. So this condition we will call it as the forbidden state. Hence, in order to overcome this forbidden state, we went in to use a JK flip-flop. So the circuit diagram, the truth table and the logic symbol of the JK flip-flop is as shown in the sketches. I have made an attempt to give the inputs. We have 4 NAND gates. So I will be supplying the conditions JK when both the inputs J and K are 0, along with the clock pulse of 1. The outputs would be 0 and 1. You can refer through this circuit and the truth table and work it out. So in your toggle state, if you can refer to the truth table above, we have no change, set, reset condition. So when we have a 1 and 1 condition, that is J and K both are 1, then the outputs Q and Q bar are going to be 1, which is the forbidden state as per the SR flip-flop. So when we give a clock pulse or the clock pulse changes from 1 to 0, then work on the circuit so that the outputs Q and Q bar are going to change their state. That is, Q is going to go for 1, whereas Q bar is going to go for a 0. So here the J and K, when both J and K along with the clock pulse changes, then we will get a toggle. That is, when the clock pulse changes, the outputs Q and Q bar are going to keep on changing as per the clock pulse. So if Q is 0, Q bar becomes 1, Q bar is 0, Q becomes 1. So like this there will be a toggle. So this we will call it as the JK flip-flop. The JK flip-flop comes because there is a forbidden state in the SR flip-flop. In order to overcome that, there is a JK flip-flop. Next thirdly we have a D flip-flop. A D flip-flop is nothing but a delay flip-flop, which is basically a JK flip-flop. Also it has got S and R inputs. As you can see through the circuit, the D is given to S as well as it is complemented to the input R. So when D state is low, Q state would be 0 and Q bar would be 1. When the state of D changes to 1, the outputs Q and Q bar are going to change to 1 and 0. So you can refer through the truth table. As the state of D changes, the outputs Q and Q bar are going to change their state. Registers are nothing but, now coming to registers, since we have seen what is meant by a flip-flop, now if we try to group these flip-flops together, that we will call it as a register. So each flip-flop will be storing one binary signal, that is either a 0 or a 1. So the above figure will show a 4-bit register consisting of D flip-flops along with one common clock. So you can see 4 flip-flops over there. Which flip-flop we have used is a D flip-flop. Also a clock is being provided, a common clock is being provided for all the D flip-flops, that is 4 D flip-flops. So when the load signal is 0 and no clock occurs to the D flip-flop, no change will occur to the states of the flip-flop. When the load signal changes from 0 to 1, the inputs are changing, hence the states of the flip-flop will also tend to change. So a register is nothing but a group of flip-flops in order to store 4-digit or 4-bit number. It can be any number, 4 or 8, 16-bit or a 32-bit or a 64-bit. So depending on the bit size, the number of flip-flops are going to increase. So we have framed some multiple choice questions. I will just read through it and provide the answers. Encoder is used to convert human readable characters to digital form to human readable characters, both of the above, none of the above. So as I discussed in earlier slides, encoder is used to convert human readable characters to digital form. That is, answer is A. Second one, encoder has 2n input lines and n output lines, n into 2 output lines, n into 3 output lines, n into 4 output lines. So the answer here is n output lines. So encoder, as I said, has 2 to the power n input lines and n output lines. Third one, decoder is used to convert binary to decimal, decimal to binary, both of the above, none of the above. So decoder is used to convert, answer is A, binary to decimal number. Coming to the fourth question, in sequential logic system, the present output of the system depends on present input and past output value, present output value, past and present output value, none of the above. So in your sequential logic slide, I have already explained on it. Your system depends on present input and past output values. So the past output value, that answer is A. The past output values would be from the memory. Fifth one, example of sequential logic circuits. Examples are flip-flops, logic gates, both of the above, none of the above. So answer is A. A sequential logic circuit will have flip-flops. Sixth one, a flip-flop can have one or more inputs but has only 2 outputs, 1 output, 3 outputs, more than 4 outputs. Answer is 2 outputs. As I already explained, a flip-flop can have one or more inputs but 2 outputs, that is, one is the normal state, one more is the inverted state, that is Q and Q bar. So the answer would be only 2 outputs, A. Seventh question, we use a clock in JK flip-flop, SR flip-flop, both JK and SR, and none of the above. As I already explained in my previous slides, SR has a forbidden state. So in order to overcome the forbidden state, we are using the JK flip-flop. So the clock is being used in JK flip-flop. The answer for this is JK flip-flop. Eighth question, D flip-flop is called as delay flip-flop, damper flip-flop, departure flip-flop, none of the above. So D flip-flop is nothing but a delay flip-flop. I have explained it in my previous slides. The answer is A. last question is, the group of flip-flops is known as A. registers, B. flip-flop, C. JK flip-flop, D. SR flip-flop. So group of flip-flops is considered as a register. So the answer is A. Register is nothing but a group or collection of flip-flops. As in my previous slides, we saw the sketch wherein we had used D flip-flops, a number of D flip-flops together called as one register. So thanks for listening. Hope to see you in the next session.